Welcome to our 2020 edition of Ignite Terrace. Ignite Terrace was inspired by an event that I attended a few years ago in Seattle called Ignite Seattle, and the purpose of this event was to share something that you were passionate about with the community in order to inspire them and to build a sense of a community, to get to know each other really. And we hosted it at Mount Lake Terrace High School, and it was a big success. I put out a plea to students to submit a 5-minute presentation a couple of weeks ago, and students did this and submitted just over a week ago. What has happened in the last week makes this event seem, well, frankly, a little bit irrelevant and tone deaf to our greater context of what's going on in the world, not only the pandemic, but the widespread protests for Black Lives Matter that are happening not only in our country, but throughout the world. However, I do want to honor the work that the students did a couple of weeks ago before all this happened in an attempt to put together an event that we were all going to watch together as a program and try to have a good time doing so. So I hope you enjoy watching this. I hope you learn about some of our fellow band members a little bit in the process. With regard to the widespread protests that are happening right now, I'd like to encourage everybody to pay attention and participate and support our brothers and sisters who are black and brown throughout our country and our world. Here is Ignite Terrace.
Hi, and welcome to Andrew and Josh's joint submission for the Ignite Terrace virtual event. We sincerely hope you enjoy and can't wait to see what else happens in the show.
Hi there, I'm Josh Satala.
And I'm Andrew Venther.
And we'll be interviewing each other today. Alright, so I'll start. I have a question here from Josh in Seattle. This is for Andrew, this is for you.
Okay.
What's your advice for staying productive during quarantine?
For me, the thing that has really helped is having a consistent schedule that I stick to. So, for example, I make sure that I have specific times during the day where I want to complete specific tasks. Like I always make sure that I do my homework after dinner, or I always make sure that I practice before I eat lunch. So having time boundaries really helps me, and I think it would benefit anyone.
That's great.
This question comes from Ernesto T. in Texas. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, you must have moved. What is the most influential album you've heard this month?
The most influential album I've heard this month is the Wynton Kelly Trio. The album is called Kelly at Midnight. I'm studying it with my lesson teacher. And so what we're doing is we're going through each song, and each song takes a week. Mm-hmm. And so I'll study that song for that week, learn the melody, learn the form, and really try and play along with it. And so the drummer on that one is Philly Joe Jones. Mm-hmm. Absolutely killing, a great record, and it's really inspired me to dig into different styles of playing Black American music and that whole thing. So
awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
All right, the next question is, what guest artist or clinician has influenced you the most during your time at Mount Lake Terrace High School?
Oh, that one's pretty easy. I think it was definitely the Tamir Hendelman Trio for me. That was the first guest artist concert that I was a part of in my time at Terrace. And the fact that he brought out his whole trio was really something special. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that we got that experience. And it was great to get that with Ari Honig too. But I think for me, Tamir was easier to digest because I hadn't really figured out odd meters yet.
Oh yeah, Ari was out there.
Yeah, Ari was really hard for me. And Tamir was really difficult too. All of his charts were hard arrangements, but it made a little more sense, and it was really great to work with his bassist one-on-one too. So this question is from me, actually. Mm-hmm. How do you balance practicing both drums and vibraphone?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So for those of you who don't know, I started practicing vibraphone for my work in the Bellevue College Jazz Band. And so, well, let's just start with today. We're working on a really hard tune in Bellevue College. It's a contrafact of There Will Never Be Another You. And so today I literally pretty much spent the whole day alternating between vibes and drums. I played an hour of vibes, an hour of drums, hour of vibes, pretty much as I could today. Other days it's less. I stick with my teacher's assignments a lot and then just play vibes when I can. And then it's mostly scales and arpeggios and just exercises to give me better control on the instrument. Our next question is, what is your favorite Instagram account?
Oh, that's a tough one. It changes pretty often, honestly. Right now, this is going to sound really nerdy and niche, but all the double bass player Instagram accounts are really great. There's one, I think it's the Cleveland Institute of Music double bass studio recently started an account, and they're making orchestral double bass specific memes that I can really I know how it sounds, but they're great. That's one of my favorites right now.
That's awesome. That's great. You could have also said your girlfriends.
So this question is a more personal one to us recent Mountlake Terrace High School graduates. Who is your favorite Mountlake Terrace High School alumni?
I have a lot of favorites and a lot of people that I get along with well, but probably my favorite person that I've connected with is Skylar Flo. He really went out of his way when he brought his group here to connect with us, and they came to our school and did a show, and that was really meaningful to me, and the lessons that I've learned from him along the way have been fantastic.
Yeah.
What piece of classical music do you sing while you wash your hands for 20 seconds?
Right now, it's the second movement of Beethoven's Second Cello Sonata. So I know that the piano opening is about 20 seconds long, so I'll just sing the opening.
Now we're going to cut to an interview with one of our closest friends, Ernesto Torres. So stay tuned for that. So our first question is for Ernesto from Josh in Seattle. And he asks, how have you found your sound and who has most influenced that sound?
You think I found my sound already?
Tell me more. What do you mean by that?
Danny Janko would be fuming right now. We're always searching for our sound, man. I don't think I found my sound yet, Josh. I think it's still too early to tell. I'm still experimenting around a lot and trying new stuff every day, transcribing new people. Like, literally, I've just been hopping from transcription to transcription. So I was transcribing some of the bros the other day. And then I transcribed a little bit of Kenny, and then good old Clifford Brown, and then Kenny Garrett before that too, and then some Charlie Parker. So, literally have not found a sound yet. I'm just kind of bouncing around. Basically right now what it comes down to is just transcribing as much as I can and mimicking whatever sound I hear.
Justin DeChocho is a common figure in the Mountlake Terrace High School band room. Which song that he sings with the program is your favorite, and would you mind helping us perform it?
No, because I didn't know he had different songs. I thought it was just like...
The one?
The one. I'll just sing like one that I remember, but it's altered because we can't say jazz anymore. So, so you just say X always has, and then you spell out the letters like a cheerleader, and you got to do it in time, and I'll do my best. But basically how it would go is he'd start clapping, and then he'd go, bam! Bam! Oh, that's not right.
What is your favorite artificial color or flavor to consume?
Purple. Grape.
In what form?
In what form?
Like soda, candy?
The Jolly Ranchers. And the Laffy Taffies. Grape Laffy Taffies.
Okay, so we just have one more question for you. Last year, unfortunately, the Mountlake Terrace High School Jazz Ensemble 1 did not participate in Essentially Ellington. However, out of those bands that did participate in the 2019 Essentially Ellington competition and festival, which one was your favorite?
Say Roosevelt High School.
Roosevelt High School.
This one is personal to you. What is your favorite note and why? What role did it play in your upbringing as a musician?
Okay, so You know how on the staff they do that thing for drums that has the little X?
Yeah.
There's no note. It sounds like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite.
What role did it play in your upbringing as a musician?
Well, it really taught me to stay away from notes entirely, and that really came back to bite me when I started learning music theory.
No, I think that's a good lesson. I think we should all avoid notes.
I have one last question for you. What instrument would you most want to be bad at?
Probably bass. It's kind of a drag to play at this point. I kind of wish I had picked it up once and put it down, you know? I also have one last question for you. It's a group of questions, but you know. Do you have a preference for flavor when picking new cymbals? Will a different taste affect the overall tone of the instrument? And how do you manage all the wonderful tastes of different cymbals?
Where do I start? Well, I think I'll start by saying that my favorite taste is metallic.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, most of them are. Most of them have that. Some of them that people have handled a little bit more, those are saltier.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my preference because it creates a darker sound. Some more overtones. If it's hammered a lot, you get some grime on there, and that also has a unique flavor. So
I would imagine.
those dark, well-handled cymbals are the tastiest.
It's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you all so much for watching. We had a lot of fun making this, and we hope to participate in another Ignite Terrace event someday soon.
Hello, my name is Jonas Rivera, and I'm here to talk to you today about a movement that's currently happening that I think is important but not very well known, and that's the right to repair. So I want you to think about all the technology in your life. You probably have phones, laptops, even things like microwave, and just think about all the things they do to make your daily life better, right? There's just one issue with electronics, and it's that at some point all electronics will fail. So electronics inherently have a lot of weak points. So I want you to think about the smartphone in your pocket, for example. What are things that can break? Well, the screen, that's really easy to break. The battery will degrade over time. The charging port, you plug in your cable in and out several thousand times throughout the product's lifespan. And also think of mechanical failure. Your device is constantly heating up and cooling off because electricity generates heat. And, that can hurt the material that's holding everything together. Now, there have been ways to combat this. There's repair shops around. There's also a company called iFixit, which supplies guides and sell parts and tools, and contain a lot of information on how you can fix your own electronics. And the idea is everything's good, right? You can keep your electronics lasting a while, and you can repair them, and everything's good. Well, there's a few small issues currently going on, and that's primarily with the companies. Companies inherently dislike consumers being able to repair their own electronics, and here I've handpicked 3 companies to help illustrate my point. So I'll start off with Microsoft as a general example. Essentially, the issue is when companies design products in a way that make them impossible to repair. So, for example, if you were to glue everything together, it becomes a lot harder to access everything on the inside, because how are you going to remove a single part? I want to illustrate this through the example of the battery in your phone. Even Apple themselves say that batteries are consumable components and that they degrade over time and will eventually fail. So basically batteries are delicate sandwiches of chemistry, and they will in fact dangerously explode or catch fire if you puncture them, bend them, or pry them. Now, the issue is when companies such as Samsung here start gluing the batteries in their phone. That's pretty dangerous. There's also another issue, which is limiting the repair options for consumers. So, for example, take this company called John Deere. You're probably familiar with them as in they do tractors for farmers. But what's gone absurd is that John Deere is putting computers in their tractors, which is kind of ridiculous to begin with. But essentially these computers are checking to see if you're doing any repairs on them, and if it detects you doing a repair on them or any parts that you installed yourself, it'll render the tractor inoperable. That's because John Deere wants you to use their repair services. They want you to call their repair people and then have them come, which, can sometimes for some of these farmers take weeks. And then they also want you to spend $150 per hour. So they want to charge these service fees for you to go through them to replace it, not you do it yourself. Imagine if your car stopped working and you had to wait weeks by calling some guy for them to come, and then because you can't replace the tire yourself, what should be a simple job is made a lot harder. Finally, the biggest named offender in all these right to repair movements is Apple. Now, they combine some of the previous issues. They lock down a lot of their products, making them hard to repair. They glue the back glass on their iPhones, for example, and it's just impossible if you crack the back of your glass. They detect if you have any third-party parts installed. They've been actively seizing repair parts from independent repair companies, and they've been also doing a lot of lobbying in courts to prevent a bill that would guarantee consumer rights to repair, which is kind of the main topic of my PowerPoint here. So the right to repair movement is essentially a movement to get companies to work in favor of the consumers and support the idea of independent repair. They want to create an idea of consumer ownership of their devices. If you purchase the device, you should have support from the company to repair it yourself. There's also the big idea of e-waste. If you have a product that's perfectly functional except for one part, say the screen, why throw away that whole product when you can replace the one screen and keep it going for years? So this movement has made progress on several fronts. There's currently bills being passed in several states to basically make companies more liable to allowing individual consumers to repair their products, except there's a few halts right now because of COVID-19, but this is a bill that's currently passed in our state. It's just there needs to be more pressure on our senators, legislators, representatives to make it pass, and also more pressure on the companies to side with consumers, in which there have been several companies that do side with the consumers in this case. So I'm not asking you to not buy a product that has glue in it, but I'm just asking you to think, next time you purchase a device, do you really own it? And that's really the idea of ownership in terms of, is the company supporting you for the fact that you gave them money for your product? Learn not only to trust a company because of the products they release, but also how they'll support you as a consumer. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, today I'll be talking about planetary defense. When I say the phrase planetary defense, you might think about spaceship fights from Star Wars, or the military protecting Earth from hostile aliens. But there's a much more realistic threat to this planet, and it's only a matter of millions of years before it happens. Scientific evidence gives us reason to believe that 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs of the late Cretaceous period were wiped out due to an asteroid impacting Earth. If that were to happen again, we could expect a similar fate. The impact would send clouds of dust into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun and choking plant life out. Humans would likely be extinct. So how can we prevent history from repeating itself? Well, it turns out that if we can predict a collision far enough ahead of time, it only takes slight alterations to the path of the asteroid for it to completely miss Earth. Demonstrating this principle will be NASA's DART mission, taking place over the next several years. DART stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test, and its main goal is to attempt to move an asteroid body. The chosen asteroid to demonstrate the technique is Didymos B, the smaller body in a double asteroid system, or two asteroids orbiting each other. The Didymos asteroid system is not endangering Earth right now, so it's a good candidate for a demonstration. The way that the DART satellite will change the path of the asteroid is through a kinetic impactor technique. Really, that's just a fancy way of saying that the satellite will crash into the asteroid as hard as possible. The crash will change the asteroid's speed very slightly, giving it a different orbit path. We'll be able to observe the change using telescopes from Earth. Some of the new technologies that will be on board the DART satellite include an advanced ion engine, roll-out solar panels, and a state-of-the-art camera and navigational system. This mission will allow NASA to test these technologies in space, improving future missions. The next C xenon thruster is a type of electric rocket engine called an ion engine. The ion engine works by pushing charged particles through polarized grids, causing the ions to shoot out the back of the engine and allowing the spacecraft to move forward in space. Ion engines are much more efficient than chemical engines. They can keep going for years and years, but they're much less powerful, so they're not suitable for taking off from Earth. Roll-out solar arrays are another feature of the DART spacecraft. These solar panels will not take up space through launch, instead being all rolled up so that they can unfurl once there's enough space. This is a technology that will save space and energy in future missions. The DART spacecraft will also feature an advanced tracking system using a Draco camera. This technology will remotely guide the satellite to the asteroid. Remote guidance is an important technology in future missions, especially because it requires less people to operate. DART will launch on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket on July 22, 2021. Starting with the DART mission, humanity is taking cosmic destiny into its own hands.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris, and this is my Ignite Terrace video presentation for Band 2020. In this presentation, I'll be showing you something that I'm interested in, and something that a lot of people don't really know about me. Regardless, I would like to share this to you anyways, as I believe it is relevant to band and relevant to me as a person. It's not much, but Ignite Terrace was on the same week as I had my AP exam for statistics. Firstly, some honest thoughts as to how I've been doing, just in case you didn't know. I've been a little sad missing out on opportunities, mostly educational opportunities. I feel like the current school system, the way it's structured out now online, it's not as effective as teaching in person, stuff like that. And I've started to forget what it's like to be in another room, the scent of the air, how the air feels. I know that's a little weird detail, but I feel like it's something significant I should note here. I'm still optimistic about the future. I feel like I'm gonna succeed. I'm very happy for myself since I'm going to a 4-year college. And I've been spending a lot of time on hobbies since, school shut down. I have a whole lot of more time now. And that's sort of what I'm going to be talking about next. So, FL Studio, it's a digital music making program that I like to use. I know a lot of other students have shared stuff in class before, and that sort of inspired me to step up and share something of my own. Unfortunately, school shut down before I could share anything, so I felt a little disappointed in that. I enjoy making music with this. This is a good program, and I feel like it's relevant to other students who would like to make music on their own. So since quarantine, school shut down, I've been spending a little bit more time on it than usual. Just a little bit. This cost $100, so this is a very significant investment. Do I regret this investment? Maybe. I don't regret it for the purposes of I'm not satisfied with the software. I don't use it because I do use it and I like to use it. Why I may regret this is due to its price and the fact that there are many different free alternatives out there this was $100, and I had to ask my parents to get it. And I'm very lucky they said yes, I could have this. So, and now I'm going to show you a song, an example from what I've made in FL Studio. Now it's a 45-second sample of one of the songs, which is 2 minutes long, and it was made while school was closed, shortly after school was closed. So I'm going to play it right now. Okay, and the full name of the song is called Planetfall. I'm not sure if I remember saying that, but I believe it's one of the best things I've made using the program so far. Um, so yeah, I hope you liked it. And just to top it off, it's not the only thing, the only thing, making music is not the only thing I've been doing after school's shut down. I've been having other hobbies. I've been into 3D animation that actually goes long before I ever started making music, and video game modding. It's where you take typically a PC game and you make modifications to it. That's generally what it is. I've been trying to get into that recently. So my advice, in conclusion, my advice for you guys is this. This is the perfect time to find a hobby, to do something you like, to just create something, just express your creativity. And it's not because school is shut down. No, that's not the most important reason why right now is the best time for you to do that. The best reason for you to do this is because it's because you're young, and when you're young, you tend to learn things faster. And it might help you down the road when you're learning, it might help you learn life skills and different important things that may be career related. I know going down modding, that might help you with programming, and that's a career skill, and that's very good. So, yeah, I hope you consider this information, and I thank you for your time.